Hello. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new, which you most likely are. And if you are, you should subscribe below. Okay. In this week's video, I'm going to be talking about books, which is kind of embarrassing because I don't think I've read a book in like 2 years, but I own a lot of books. There's a whole stack of books here, and today we're going to be talking about the 10 books that I would like to read in 2021. I definitely feel like my brain is just not as functional as it was before the pandemic, and even like before that. Obviously that comes with like a lot of different factors, but I think one of them is mainly like I don't read anymore unless it's for school, so I'm not actually like taking in information that I'm actually interested in and like dedicated to the same way that like when I do schoolwork it's required. And even though like I'm in a program that I like, it still feels forced. I actually started a class this semester, and it's the first time that I've been doing any of the readings where I actually want to do the readings, but I would also kind of like to have that translated into my personal life. I thought that I would share with you guys the 10 books that I wanted to read. It's almost March, so it's been almost 3 months that I could have done this. 2 months. It's been whatever, you know, it's been a while. But I want to read these 10 books this year and then come back in a year from now, or once I finished all the books, and talk about them. I did pre-order an extra book, so it's technically 11 books, but I don't think it'll come here until the summer. So I'm hoping to at least be done like half of this stack of books by then. So yeah, let's just get started. I'm gonna start from the top of the list, or the top of the pile. This is in no particular order. I'm gonna read them as I feel like reading them, but I'm hoping to just like read one book and then start the next, and you know, like. So the first book I have is the Spotify Teardown. This just kind of goes into how Spotify works and kind of how the streaming industry affects the music industry, and I'm really interested in kind of learning more of the behind the scenes, especially since my program does have a music and audio specialty that I'm not in, but I'm also really interested in, so it's something to kind of like teach me more about something that I'm interested in and probably won't have the chance to like dive deeper into while I'm still in university. The next book was actually a book that I found out about in Lucy Wood's video about the books that she's recently read that she really enjoyed. So after watching that video, I ordered this book, and it's called Daddy by Emma Cline, and it's just a anthology of stories that she's written, and they pretty much kind of all of them encompass misogyny and kind of like how we face misogyny in our everyday life. So I'm really excited to get through this and kind of see what she has to offer. She has another kind of anthology style book, so hopefully I like this and we'll eventually read her other one. The next one I have is called Directing Actors by Judith Weston, and this was actually suggested to me from one of the directors on Suits. He said that it was kind of like one of the best books that he's read as a director, so I purchased it and I've had it forever and I haven't gotten to it. So it's something that I'm really excited to read, because we do have classes on directing performers, but I didn't have the chance to take it this semester because school isn't in person. And while I do still plan on taking it, I am really excited to read this and just kind of get like a pre-knowledge of kind of how to do things. The next book that I have, I've actually already started, and it's called The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe by Dr. Stephen Novella. My dad bought this for me and it's signed. He has his own podcast and I find it really interesting. My dad, being really cool, bought me this book. So I did start it, but I haven't finished it, and I've had it for like a year. So I'm really hoping to finally get through this massive book this year. The next book is a book that everybody and their mother has read. My mom gave it to me, but it's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I've seen it in like every single video of like getting ready for college, like just kind of like all these like transitional period like YouTube videos. Everybody talks about this book. Every person in the world talks about this book or has talked about this book. My mom left me little notes throughout it, so I'm looking forward to reading this and then giving her book back. But yeah, I could definitely use the advice. The next book is called White Fragility. I bought this over the summer and never got around to reading it because I don't know, I bought all of these books expecting to read them right when I got them, and I didn't. But I think this is really important to read, especially given our current political climate. I think that this will be beneficial and will teach me a lot, and I'm actually really looking forward to reading this. So the next book is a book called 99 francs, and it's by somebody called Frédéric, I can't pronounce his last name, Bagbetter, and it's a book It's in French. I think they have an English translated version, but I bought this from a library in France online for like $10. It's basically about capitalism and kind of, this book was written like forever ago, but it's about capitalism and kind of how it's kind of ingrained in our society and how it's kind of like a system that will never escape. I am very confused by capitalism, I suppose. Next, I don't know, this book is so dirty. This is also a used book, but something of mine spilled on it, but I don't know what it is. Anyways, this book is called The Defining Decade by Meg J. I've seen this one on social media a lot too, and it's specifically for 20-somethings, like to kind of make the most out of your 20s. My 20s started off with a pandemic, so I don't know, but I'm really looking forward to reading this and kind of like trying to figure out like how to improve my life, I guess. I don't really love self-help books, but you know, some pointers these days are appreciated. Next, I have a couple fiction books. I feel like those were all non-fiction except for Daddy, but I have a couple fiction books to kind of end off the list. The first one is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, and I bought this a really long time ago as well. It was featured at like Indigo, and I purchased it online to take with me on vacation, and then I never took with me on vacation. So that's how old this is. Like, people were still going on vacation at that point. I do want to read it. It does seem really interesting. I love kind of like mysteries and stuff like that, so I'm hoping that this is good. And to kind of follow in the same kind of path, I have the book The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. I thought it said Katie Morton as first, and I was like, I don't know if I want to read that anymore, but it's a different person. Anyways, this book is also really old. I think I bought it at the same time that I bought the last book and was supposed to bring it on vacation and obviously didn't. But I've had this book in my library forever, and I think it's just time to read it. First of all, the cover is gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at. Like, I think this is my favorite cover out of all of them. But it's also a fiction, and I have a lot of non-fiction, like I mentioned, and I do feel like eventually that's not going to be as fun to read, so I'm looking forward to reading this as well. I kind of don't know what to say anymore. I kind of wanted to challenge myself intellectually to kind of read again, especially reading in French. I don't think I've read a French book since I graduated high school, which is really bad. I'm really hoping that that kind of like refreshes my brain, because I definitely feel myself like kind of losing French. Like, I can't think in French as easily as I could before. Like, usually my thoughts would have been 50-50 French and English, and now they're not. So I'm really hoping that just like introducing kind of literature back into my life and kind of making it a more important part of my day-to-day will hopefully make me feel a little bit better, because I won't just be doing work, but also will just like make my brain grow. I feel like it takes me so much more time to like grasp concepts, and I don't know if like that's a unique feeling or not, but let me know, because I feel like I'm going crazy and like I can't hold a conversation or properly focus anymore, and I just really kind of want to bring that back and bring to like some kind of like element of like pleasure to thinking and doing things. So I don't know if this will help, but it's my like attempt at like minorly fixing my life. So yeah, this was a really short video, and it's different, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any suggestions of books that I should read down below. That could be cool. For now, that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and I will see you guys in my next one.